Welcome to Hot and Holy, a show for and by makeup artists as well as beauty enthusiasts.
In this podcast, we'll show you what it's really like to work in and navigate through the beauty industry.
I'm your host, Jenna.
And I'm Cece.
And we're Hot and Holy. Hello, and welcome back.
We are
welcome
so
to
excited.
Season 2. Yes. Okay. This season, we got a lot of jam-packed, new ideas, new topics. We're going to bring some guests on. Oh, yeah. We got tons of stuff we're going to show to you guys. We're so excited. We took a little break. Lots of stuff has happened.
A year-long.
Okay. A year-long break.
I don't know.
But we love Hot and Holy. We're determined to grow this. And so we're not giving up.
This was our passion project that came out of the pandemic. So yeah.
And I think it's really important to share with you guys what's been going on, deliver the news straight from people who are in the industry, who's working during this whole,
time of craziness.
Yeah. And how we're surviving it and what we see that is changing. And we want to share that with you guys. We don't want to give you whatever stats and cookie cutter articles on the news. We want to give it straight from the source, like what we're doing, how we're dealing, what's going on. So
from industry professionals.
Exactly. So further ado, Cece.
Oh, yes. So since the last time that we got together and recorded our last episode, lots has changed. I have actually moved to Washington. So I am now a citizen here. I'm a resident in a new state. I am also now a military spouse. I have started a new job. There's just so many things have gone on. I am finally enrolled in esthetician school. That was my biggest thing.
That was such
it's been a journey
I remember working with you, and every single day you were just like wondering when you're going to move. Like, where are you going to move?
Yeah.
Where are you going to work at? Are you going to be able to go to school? Like everything was, you guys were hanging by a thread.
Everything was up in the air when we last got together. I had no idea what was going on. I had no job. I was unemployed. I didn't know where we were going to live. We weren't sure where we were going to be stationed exactly. I was still juggling, being a new spouse, which is something in itself, and then moving and dealing with emotional issues with miscarriage and grief and learning how to work through that, dealing with mental stress and all the quarantine weight that I put on. There were so many different layers of things that were going on in my life at that time that it was difficult. It was definitely a hard season because there was just so many things going on. It was overwhelming. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was sad and depressed and unmotivated. And it was just a hard time mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. But I am happy to say that 6 months later, I'm in a much better place in all of those areas. And I'm just grateful to be able to move forward and take everything that happened during that time as a learning experience and hopefully share that so that someone out there knows that they're not alone. I can't be the only one experiencing these things. Like this is real life.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us, and God bless military spouses.
Yeah.
You guys are the strongest ones in the forefront, someone's got to hold down the fort.
Right. Difficult life, but we knew what we signed up for.
So when we started this podcast, you guys, I just want to give you kind of a little bit of background. I'm a licensed esthetician, and Cece's been trying to get into esthetician school for a while. We both work in the beauty industry for quite some time.
Yeah.
So she was already doing her lash thing, and then we're like, oh, in certain states, you're going to have to, be certified if you want to do lash extension. And that's how she kind of started going into that. And then she got more into skincare, and now look at you. And now you're saying that you like
school. I love waxing. Very surprised. So school has flown by. I've been in for 2 months now. We started off with facials, went on to waxing, and I honestly love waxing more. If I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't know I would love it as much as I do. Full body waxing is like my jam. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like going to cosmetology and you realize like, oh, I want to specialize in haircut or coloring or
nails, and
bleaching.
you're like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's definitely, it shows you an overall general like overview, but then you really start to specialize, you guys. And it's when you start specializing, you're being really good at one or two things and you offer that, that's the way to go.
That's where it's at. When you're passionate about what you do, it'll just be so much more rewarding. So much more.
And someone can be like giving you, like for me as an esthetician, I love to specialize in the massage part. And
part of your school modality, right?
yeah. And then I went, because of that, I took massage therapy courses and got licensed after that for massage therapy to enhance my facials. Waxing, I was okay, but brows, I love doing brows so much that I'm like, all right, you know what? Doing makeup and brows, I might as well become a microblader too. So you really find your niche specialization, your niche market, and you want to be great at that. You don't want to be mediocre at like 700 things.
Exactly.
Exaggerating.
Well, yeah, right. Because I mean, I do fall within that spectrum because I do have a lot of interest. I am very passionate about several things. And so it is hard for me to pick one thing or two things and focus on that. But that's the thing about school that I am loving. I think we should talk about our school experience because they are kind of similar and kind of different. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Because our two schools quite different. You want to talk about how yours get to, you guys get to specialize more in the chemical peels and also like the advanced,
right?
Which is, I'm going to tell you mine after CC, mine's a little different. I went to Aveda, is a little more holistic and Ayurvedic, so we have different teachings, modalities. Just we offer very similar, of course, the basic essential fundamental. Then it's when you started to specialize, that's where it gets a little different. So why don't you talk about that? And then I will share my schooling after.
Yeah. So I am going to shout out my school because I love it so much. I am currently attending Evergreen Beauty College at the Everett campus, and that is in Washington State. And it was such a good experience overall from start to finish, the enrolling, my classmates, and the things that we can do within our program. So I've been in school for 2 months now. Like I mentioned earlier, we started off learning facials, and now we're on to body waxing. I'm now in phase 2, where we are learning the advanced things. So lash extensions, microdermabrasion, and I think we're going over makeup this month too. So that'll be fun because it's been a while since I've touched a face for makeup. But something that I think is important for us to talk about is the differences between what you can and can't do based on the state that you live in or based in the country that you live in. So Jenna touched on it earlier. So there are certain things that you can do in Washington that you can't do in California, for example. One of the reasons that I was so excited to move here is when I found out that Washington offers a master esthetician license. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, if you've seen it in the groups online, but there is a program. It's a 2-tier program for master estheticians. And what that means is that you can do advanced treatments within a medical setting. So you can essentially work at a medical spa. You can do things that are medical grade under the license of another practitioner within the industry. So really, really cool. Definitely something that I'm interested in. We'll see though, because school is, definitely a time to just figure out what you like and what you don't like, and to figure out how you want to operate your business once you're done. And so it's just been such a fun experience so far, though I have to say, going from doing nothing for 6 months and looking for a job when I moved here to now working full time, commuting 3 hours a day, and then having school Monday through Friday is definitely taking its toll, but I'm figuring it out. I'm learning how to better manage my time and just be more efficient. And so I think that's the thing I'm most grateful for, is it gave me another sense of purpose. It reignited that for me, and I needed that.
Well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that, actually, because
I was struggling. I was like, I don't like my body. I'm not comfortable in my skin. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Majority of us, even myself, who was like a health nut, was I didn't feel the motivation
Yeah.
to go work out in my living room. It's so hard.
Even though we had the time and like, you can do body exercises, we were like, what's happening? What's wrong
It's
with us?
not the same. Not the same. I had to go back. I had to, thank God I live in Southern California and my
Yeah, look
CrossFit
at you
classes
now,
are outdoors. Yeah.
Miss CrossFit.
So my school is a little different.
Mhm.
Ayurveda Institute, I went to the main campus in Minneapolis, and we're a holistic base Ayurvedic. So if you guys don't know what Ayurvedic it is,
Explain that, please, because I didn't know what that was.
I'm gonna have to Google the exact Ayurvedic. Yeah.
Ayurvedic. I know it deals with holistic health. I just don't remember what exactly. But I just
I'm
thought
looking
that
it up. Hold
it's
on. I'm like
interesting now.
looking it up. Wikipedia. Ayurvedic is an alternative medicine system with historical roots in Indian subcontinent.
Ooh.
So its theory and practice Ayurvedic is actually pseudoscientific. It's heavily in India and Nepal, and 80% of the population started reporting to using it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, its therapy includes medicine, special diets, meditation, yoga, massage, laxative, enemas, medical oils, herbal compounds, mineral substance. So it's
Really
it's
wide
really,
range.
yeah, it's wide range, but it's very holistic. It's not chemical or man-made.
So organic.
Yeah, more organic, not necessarily like in the lab
practices.
by a computer.
So
So here's the thing with that. I love essential oils. I believe, everything in our skincare, even our makeup is made with a lot of essential oils. There's so many benefits. That's where we derive, all the nutrients, the treatment for our skin. But to be honest with you guys,
that's embarrassing.
Those skincare like Whole Foods and Sprouts and Trader Joe's.
Oh, the stuff that you got to keep in the refrigerator.
Yeah, because like I said, yeah, it goes bad. There's no alcohol to preserve, or even like, I get it. It's not good for your face kind of thing with alcohol, but okay, stop with that. Let me tell you, okay? I'm like in the middle. I love essential oils. I love, you're using all the natural ingredients. They have benefits. It's great. Exactly like your diet. It's helping the body do what it's supposed to do. But sometimes our body needs a little more boost. Hence, that's why technology comes in. Technology is going to, encapsulate that little molecule so it gets delivered down and like activates it quicker.
Science isn't bad.
Yeah. Science is not bad. Okay. But like, also think about this. Like, I believe in laser and microneedling and using those essential oils on top of it. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing.
In the right way.
Yeah. In the school, wherever you go to esthetician school, beauty school, wherever, they're going to teach you your very basic, where you can pass the state board, really generalize things, but it is up to us ourselves when we graduate that we further our knowledge, study more, practice, specialize in a program, do whatever you got to take to just elevate yourself as the artist, as a cosmetologist, as a beautician, as an esthetician, nail tech, massage therapist. It is up to us in order to elevate our skills, our game. Step it up.
A great point.
Yeah.
Especially for people that are considering becoming an esthetician or a cosmetologist or what have you in the beauty industry. I think there's this misconception that school is supposed to teach you everything. And the truth is it's not. It's an unrealistic expectation to think that you're going to walk away from school learning everything you need to know, because you aren't, and you shouldn't want that, because you should be able to choose what you want to study afterwards and what you want to specialize in.
Perfect example. My girl that does the Brazilian in school, they teach you hard wax. So she's clearly licensed. She's been doing this for years. She's booked up all the time. She's making $65 at least plus for Brazilian, and is booked every 15 minutes. This girl can get it done in and out quick in like less than 8 minutes. She gives me more time to put my clothes on than actually waxing me. And yet she used
soft.
She's what?
What wax does she use on you?
She used a strip.
Okay.
And she's fast and she's going at it. And I'm like, what? But guess what? That's her specialty. She did her research on which wax is going to be the best for her and her technique and for her client. You think school taught her that? I don't think so. Because I remember going to school, it's either strip, hard, why is this, and this is basic for this and this.
Yeah.
It was very structured. But hey, you know what? If it works for her and she's making bank, think about this. This girl's making 65 plus every 15 minutes. That is a lot of money and being booked up all the time.
That's the goal.
Exactly. So it is definitely possible. And that's a perfect example who's someone who's specialized. She doesn't wax. She doesn't do anything else. She just goes in and out.
Only does Brazilians. That's her specialty.
Yep. Only Brazilians.
That's amazing. Honestly, Brazilians are fun.
It's interesting.
I'm considering adding, I mean, obviously I want to do that, but including a vajacial, for example, as an add-on service to a Brazilian. So
yeah. And I got so comfortable with my classmate because I remember going to school.
Oh yeah.
You had to let your hair grow and you're going to get naked on the table with your classmates.
You practiced it in school too?
Oh yeah, we practiced Brazilians in school, and I had two girls that I was friends with look at my vagina and told me to spread this, do this, put my leg this way. I'm like, oh Lord, you're gonna see everything.
I think it's nice that we're talking about it though, because I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, and maybe it's because it's an Asian culture, but we never talked about the vagina. I've said vagina more times in the last year than I have in my whole life, because we weren't allowed to talk about your health.
We gave them nicknames. Okay, we gave them nicknames.
I'm like, what were your nicknames? Because I know what mine were.
For girls, we call it Jim. I think it's the bird.
That's
oh no. Sorry. No, that's a bird. I think that's for boys. And then Imbe means like baby for girls. So they're like, oh, cover up your baby parts when you're little.
What did my mom made up a word and I actually taught it to Zavi. Oh, she called it peepow.
What is it?
Peepow. When I was a kid, that's what I thought. That's the only word I knew for vagina, peepow. And so I taught that to Zavi when she was a baby. So yeah. It's I would
have to say I would think that our family being Asian and kind of coming from a more of a conservative background, that they're the one who's like embarrassed to say that.
Yeah, I told my mom that.
I thought that is what it was, the actual word growing up until I was a teenager. And they're like, no. I'm like, what is this word? I remember one time they told me to go working at my family's restaurant. I was like a teenager and they told me like, go find a permanent marker in the back. But they said, go find that to go find a permanent marker. And of course they're like, say it in Vietnamese. So I came in the back in the chef kitchen asking everybody, who's got a big black pen? Everybody was like, Jenna, you can't say that. I'm like,
wait. Hold on. Oh, that is too funny. I love that. Oh man. I told my mom after I did my first extended bikini in school, I told her that I loved it. And she was like, you look at vaginas? You're not? Like, that's gross. I'm like, Mom, no, it is not. Like, it's such a beautiful thing. If you look at it from, a professional standpoint, I'm just there to remove the hair. I don't care what it looks like down there.
Yeah. After a while you get immune to it. You're just like, whatever. I've seen it so many times. Like,
it's not, it doesn't have to be weird if you don't think it is, but it's just interesting though, like coming from our Asian culture, how taboo a lot of things are, especially personal hygiene or talking about that area, your private area.
Yeah, not only that, but I remember because I'm growing up in a modest family. Yeah, I've never seen anyone else's vajayjay except for mine. Yeah. So when I was looking at some of them, I was like, "Is that what it's supposed to look like?" I guess I have to ask, like, it's like that one TV show, Sex and the City. I'm like, you've never looked at your own vagina where you stick one leg up, or like one leg up on the bathtub and put a mirror underneath there and take a look at it. I'm like, very interesting. And when I was doing waxing, and we had models come in, I'm going to say this just because I graduate, let's see, 2006, 2007 for esthetician school. So it's long gone. And I don't even know if that client will ever listen to this story.
Yeah.
She's not going to remember it.
Let's hope
She
not.
Remember this. Yeah. This is like a long time ago. We're talking about like 14, 15 plus years. I'm just going to say it. There was this older lady that came in and she had like a 70s porn star bush. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I got to trim it, lady. Bring on the scissors. Like we have to bring the electronic razor or something. Like we can't.
I didn't know that, but like what the size of a grain of rice is how long it's supposed to be. I had no idea.
Yeah, but this lady came in where you can actually like braid it in a ponytail.
You know, I've actually heard of people offering like special services where they dye it or they like vajazzle it, like put jewels and stuff down there and like trim it. I don't know. I think that's interesting. I'm not interested in that, but I'm curious to see.
If you want me to bedazzle your vajayjay, I'm going to charge you. I'm a makeup artist and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. I know that there is this job. Another makeup artist told me.
Okay.
You do a lot of body makeup and sometimes the lady parts, the vagina part down there does not match with the rest of your body, or you might have to conceal like certain imperfections down there. There is a job in the porn industry where you fix all of that as a makeup artist and you make tons of money.
I know that. Interesting.
So, hey, you guys see another job you would never expect in the beauty industry.
So interesting.
So you guys, the other thing, I'm going to applaud Cece for this. It shows the determination of what needs to be done. And then I'll share you guys my story too of when I'm going to school as well. When you're working full time and then you're going to school full time, it's already hard enough.
Yep.
When you have a family on top of that, hard enough. This is that harder. But get this, Cece, why don't you tell them your commute? Okay.
The thing that blew your mind the most. She's like, you drive that long every day? I'm like, yeah, I have to. So
I average out to be the same.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I first moved to Washington, I had nothing to do. I had no job for the first 6 months. And then I start school. And because of where I live, I have an hour and a half commute to school. And so that means when I go there and come back, I drive 3 hours a day, right? So that was the first thing. I'm in school Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 12:30. And then 2 months in, I get a full-time job, which is great because they were willing to work around my school schedule, which is amazing. And because of that, I'm gone all day and I have no day off. And yes, it's tough to go from like nothing to a lot of everything all at once. And then, juggle being a wife and a mom. But it's not.
Tell them how long your commute is.
So yeah, 3-hour-long commutes, 7 days a week.
Is that before and back or
that's all together? Like, yeah, before and back. And then I'm working 40 hours. I'm in school for 30 hours. 70 hours a week. And then I would say I get maybe 5 or 6 at the most hours of sleep a day if I get back home on time, if there isn't any traffic, stuff like that. So right now, I feel like I have my school and work schedule jam packed. It's just finding and making time to get like a small workout in, something to keep me more mobile and just to help shed this extra weight that I put on over quarantine. So that's where I'm at right now. It's a struggle, but it's not impossible. And that's what I want to tell people is, even if the situation is difficult, if you are forced to find a way, you will find a way. If you truly want it, you will just figure it out, stop with the excuses and just put in the work. And I just can't stress that enough, because as a future esthetician, as a beauty professional, the one thing that I've learned as an entrepreneur is that if you really want something, you will do whatever it takes. And so this is what I'm doing to make my goal of becoming an esthetician come true, because this has been 3 years in the making. Yeah.
So when I was going to school,
yours is more intense, I think, but yeah, go ahead and tell them.
Tell them
how your commute was.
So this is after the U of M. This is after Aveda. So I'm already licensed massage and esthetician.
Mm-hmm. You got doing
I was transferring school out here because I wanted to finish up and getting my marketing degree out here. So I was working full time at the cosmetic counter down here. So that's full time, 5 days, 8 hours, close to 40 hours a week. And my 2 days off were Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursday, I would drive up to LA from San Diego, drive up to LA to go to school. So get this, traffic is terrible. It is 3 ways. I mean, 3 hours to drive up to there, 3 hours back. So that's 6 hours per day times that, 2 times. I guess that's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of evens out to be like you. But my schedule was so bad with school. The fact that on Tuesdays and Thursday when I'm driving up there, I have to leave here at 6 to get to my class at 9 a.m. because of the rush hour traffic at the time. Yeah. My school schedule was wake up, drive from 6 to get there at 9. My class is from 9 to 12. From 12 to 3, I had a lunch period and no class. I don't know why. I'm sitting there. There's just no class that I needed that I could take at that time.
In that break.
Slept in my car, got lunch, tried to kill some time, do homework, studied or whatever. And then from 3 to 6 is my last class I had to take. So from 3 to 6, after 6 o'clock, I would drive 3 hours back to San Diego. I made it back at 9 p.m. Ew. So 6 in the morning to 9 p.m. I was out the door at school campus for 9 hours. And that was my Tuesdays and Thursdays. I look back and I'm like, I cannot believe I drove that whole semester. What was it? It was more than three months. It was like, I don't know, like 6 months of just doing that. I look back, I'm like, how did you do it? I think my grade kind of like suffered a little, but like, and it's either my grade suffer and my job suffer. It wasn't like I was like excelling because I was so exhausted and tired and I was mentally drained too, not just only that physical. And like at the time, how do you squeeze in a workout? How do you squeeze in time for yourself? It's hard
when you're just too tired.
How do you cook for yourself? Meal prep and all of that. Yeah. But you guys, this is what we're talking about. Like when you have to get something done, when you want that goal, you want to finish that finish line, you got to do it. You're motivated. There's no other choice. You have to do it. Yeah. So, and we're not the only ones. I'm sure there's going to be some of you guys have stories out there where you're like, I drove 2 hours to school every single day for 4 hours, 4 years or something. Yeah. Even more. This is just, it may look like a bump in a road or it's not even one step back. You're still moving forward, but it's in the end, it's going to be so well worth it for you. So I'm going to give you guys kind of what's going on what's with my life. Cece, thank you for sharing yours. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
A lot in the show. So what's been going on with you? Tell us.
For the last year, let's see, I got back to work after being furloughed and spas open, close. It was horrific. You're hanging by a thread. You don't know if you're going to have a job next day or not. Yeah. Seriously, you don't know where your income is coming from. And being on top of that as a small business owner, an entrepreneur, someone who also do like freelance, all of that, I'm really depending on building, the clientele and booking for the future and having rebooking and knowing where my income is coming from. I'm basically walking on a thin rope in the dark.
That's intense.
Yeah, because I did not know what was happening. Yeah. So I'm on edge every single day, you guys, watching the news, researching. And honestly, in the state of California, they were saying that our spas and salons are going to be shut down. I think we got like shut down twice, open, close, shut down twice. And not only that, but your salon and spa and business might not even be open anymore. A lot of people went out of business. Yeah. And my clients, some of them were comfortable to come in, some of them were not. So then I got 2 things to deal with. And if you don't know if you're going to go work or not. And also I got to think about my health as well as my client's health. Yeah. Do I want to risk myself out there or not? And then they said, oh, you guys can open outdoors. I'm sorry. I'm not going to wax somebody outdoors. I think it's unsanitized. I'm not going to microblade someone outdoor. One, I need a certain ring light, a magnifying glass. I'm not going to magnifying glass out in the sun and roast my client's eyes out. That's not going to happen. Or do waxing outdoors. Unsanitary.
No.
No air filters. What about all the chemicals that we work with? What about all the electrical cords for all the machines? I think it's going to be a fire hazard.
Yeah.
And the bugs. Can we not talk about the bugs or the pollution or what's in the air? Like, it's just so many variable. And I think about it. I'm like, these men in Capitol Hill, do they not understand what we're going through? You're not a makeup artist. You're not an esthetician. You're not a cosmetologist. Yeah. We're trained so heavily in school. I would have to say like 50% of our schooling has to do with a lot of sanitation. Learning about diseases and, the function of everything. It's just, we have to be insured and certified. I would have to say we're just as great as a medical building, any medical industry, the hospital, even about sanitation.
Yeah.
We are expected to uphold that. We get dinged all the time, health department coming in to inspect us. Mm-hmm. We should be upholding to the highest standard. We are so intimate working with our clients, with skin, with their organs, with their blood, everything, that it's their health is our number one concern. Why would we be so stupid to risk that? Exactly. We're taking every precautious, procedure, trying to prevent, sanitize everything. So it really frustrates me that they want to shut us down and to have us open outdoor. And I don't know if you guys, there's a study, I'll have to link you guys with this article, but they were saying that anywhere in a community that there is a salon or a spa, the community actually starts to thrive. Mm-hmm. Because self-care is so important. It's not just the way how you look, it's mentally how you think and feel. It helps with your self-esteem. Having good hygiene is beneficial for your health.
Yeah.
That is super important. And then you're going to shut us down. You're going to shut the gyms down.
It's also important for mental health.
Yeah. Is that not essential? Someone tell me, is that not essential or not? Mental health and hygiene? Mm-hmm. Is not just, I'm sorry, sir, it's not just about your lipstick that you're wearing. No, it goes further deep, it's skin deep down, why there is a reason why for that. And that was frustrating to me. So what I was doing, sorry, I went off of like a passionate rampage there.
I'm there with you.
The other thing is, so when I was getting back into work, I also was trying to open up my own spa. I will have the full control over my schedule, when and what I can do. Mm-hmm. From the decor, the aesthetic to the service, I get to keep that profit and money that I make, that I build a market and run the business how I want it to run. I'm not going to share with anybody else or anything. I would just have to pay for that, the landlord, right?
Okay.
So I decided to go on my own. I have the experience, many years of experience. I was going to go in with another friend who's an esthetician. So we're looking for places and we found this great place and we're so excited to get, to be motivated to open up along with me working my other job, multiple other jobs that all has to do with the beauty industry. But what was hard was health inspection. Everything was ready. We had all the tools. We had the linens, the bed, or the machines, everything you could think of. We even picked out all the decors. Health inspection says no, because the tiles in the bathroom were 90 degrees. So if you look at the angle of it, the walls meeting the bathroom floor is 90 degrees.
Okay.
I was not allowed to have that. It has to be a swoop angle where I can wipe it off with, antibacterial, antiseptic products, because it was not swooped.
So because of the shape of the tile.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Never heard that one.
Yeah. The shape.
You told me it didn't click until just now.
Yeah. So if you look at the wall and the bottom of the floor, how it's connected, it's 90 degrees.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I realized they were.
Yes. And then guess what? We couldn't even have a grass wall decor. we would have to we would have to repaint everything because it also has to be sanitized. Because how else would you spray it down? You can't.
With like a flower wall, I mean, you could spray
Yeah.
it. They wouldn't
No,
accept.
you can't. They say bacteria and germs will grow, and even if you spray it, it's gonna be really hard for you to get all the little nooks and crannies. So health inspector says, no this, no this, no this. And I thought about it. I'm like, if I'm only gonna be here like a few times a week,
It's not worth it.
it's not worth it. This sucks. I had this whole idea of, opening this and doing this and being able to rent out. I didn't know that if you are doing esthetician service, you can be in a separate room in a salon that does hair and nails. But guess what? If you are dealing microblading, opening up the blood vessel, you cannot. You have to be registered with the health department about where you put the needle disposals.
So
And
you can't operate it next to an esthetician because you're considered a tattoo artist.
No, so I can't operate in the same vicinity, in the same room as someone doing hair and nail because of aerosol.
Oh, interesting.
Right. And I didn't. So I highly recommend those who are trying to open up their spas and looking for a location. Please, please, please read everything of what your state, your county is expecting of you before, because every single time you get a health inspection, it's $480 something. It's $500 each time. Yeah. And you get dinged for it. That means you fail. They get to come back and make more money off of you.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And not only that, you have to upkeep. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is part of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
This is something you're gonna have to learn throughout. You might put some money down and do the investment and have all your stuff good to go. But if you don't pass health inspection, there's no way you're going to be fully up and operating.
Yeah.
So that took a step back. I'm still working at a spa, but I'm still currently looking for another option, another location, another space. I'm not giving up on that dream, but now at least I know better.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing, is that you took something that was potentially negative and you just used it as fuel and motivation to find a new place.
It was a little sad, a little heartbreaking, and it was a little bit embarrassing because I had this like plan. I'm like, yay, like I'm, another thing on my resume. I'm so proud of, and then it just came tumbling down. And you know what? I was like, yeah, I am embarrassed to tell people, but at the same time, I'm like, this wasn't my fault. I mean, well, yes, because I should have known, but at the same time, I'm like, I wasn't expecting like all of this, like the pros and cons of it in the health department. I was like, is it really worth it or not? So it's something, it's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Definitely a lesson learned.
Good. I think that's great. I mean, it's so easy to fall into the negative when something doesn't go your way. I think it's so great that you were able to pick yourself up and bounce back so quickly. Because I know if the roles were reversed, of course I'd be upset and I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it's like it ain't my first rodeo. I'm like, yeah, being in the industry, you're gonna get some slap in the faces with some surprises.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is, but the positive thing is we started opening up. I went back to, CrossFit and jiu-jitsu, made a huge, huge difference in working out. Just fuels me, just makes me feel better physically, mentally, just emotionally, everything. I feel like, okay, I'm losing this quarantine body. I'm not used to ever.
You didn't have a quarantine. I mean, like,
no, what I'm used to. Being competitive and growing up and being a gymnast and just everything. I was like, it is different, and everybody, what looks normal to you may not look normal to the next, or comfortable for the next person. But it's, what is that meme I saw the other day? It's like your ideal body weight is, or your weight right now is someone else's ideal body weight. Yeah. Don't be hard on yourself. And it's true. But at the same time, like there's a girl out there who maybe is battling anorexia or eating disorder who wants to gain weight. There's another person who's, or who's bulimic or something and wants to lose weight. You never know what someone's going through based on their outer appearance. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, and it's a really good point to make, because I think at the end of the day, what we all learned collectively as a society is be kind, because you never know what someone's going through.
And people are more on edge more than ever.
Oh yeah. Tensions
are high and
for sure.
Passion fuel, and everyone wants to be heard.
exactly. And as you should, but you can do it with empathy and with kindness.
Agreed completely.
Yes.
So we're going to move on to the next segment, is also what's been happening since I did come back in the beauty industry. So, aside from the spa stuff, the beauty industry, I came back from being furloughed, not having a job, to working out, doing all this stuff, opening a spa, working full time. From nothing to full send, 100, 200%.
Yeah.
I'm busy, don't even have a day off, which was great to a certain extent. I mean, I was booked from the weddings being pushed back, so people were getting more comfortable. Microblading, because people wanted, their focus is on eyes right now. You see people still wearing masks, maskless or whatever, but everyone's seeing the eyes, everyone's seeing brows, how it shapes you, and you could wake up and have something there and not have to put it on. Like people are wearing less makeup and all they want to show is showcase good skin and brows. So I was starting to get picked up for that. But our next thing that I want to talk about is the changes that we've been seeing now in the beauty industry. I think Washington is a little different than California. I don't know if you guys are or not. What we're doing in store, it took us a while. We recently just started doing this, but we can do makeup application, wearing a mask and a face shield, and obviously our temp has to be normal for both parties, and using only disposable brushes and Q-tips. Come on, I'm not going to be able to give you a full glam in 15. It's limited to 15 minutes, because anything more than 15 minutes is like considered, oh my gosh, you're in the risk zone.
Really?
And yeah, that's just in my retailer that I have. Other stores I know are using brushes, but they're keeping themselves down to 15 minutes as well with the mask, but they're using brushes, and an artist is only as good as their tools.
Yeah. So that's definitely a test of your creativity and skill set if you're forced to use a Q-tip to put eyeshadow on somebody.
Unreal. Unreal.
It's not impossible. It's not the greatest, that's for sure. But actually, yeah, I mean, to your point, we work in sister retailers and we have the same standards as far as I know, though I haven't seen anyone apply makeup. And even though I can do it, I don't offer it unless I'm servicing them from head to toe with like their apparel, and they have an event to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But
what about you guys up in Washington? What are you guys doing differently?
I don't think we're doing anything differently. Like when we apply makeup, you can do it in store. You do have to wear a shield and a mask regardless of your status, right? And yeah, same thing as far as I know. But I think we can use brushes. I have to double check. I haven't seen anyone use it, but I think the standards are pretty much the same.
It was so hard to just do full glam and cut crease.
Also, in 15 minutes and with a Q-tip, come on.
Yeah, you're not looking at much.
You're a pro artist, but I imagine that was challenging for you too.
I mean, I wanted to cry.
Aww.
There's time where I still second guess myself. Definitely.
Yeah. And that's why it's nice to bounce off your friends and colleagues in the industry. Cause I always like to remind you, like, dude, you're a pro artist. Like, no, you have the skill set. Like, come on.
I mean, I did it, but I just felt that like I can do better.
Yeah.
Better with this, or more time, or I'm always going to try to push myself to give them the best. And like, I mean,
yeah. And that's definitely frustrating when you can.
It's not all the time, but there's sometimes it still seeps in my mind. I'm like, could I have done better? I think it's natural to think about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as you don't dwell on it and let it get to you, but I'm sure you did great, all things considered.
So with this whole era, this new era that we're in,
we're trying to be kind about it.
Yeah, this new era that we're in, this past year, quite,
this weird season in life for everyone.
But it has forced us. It has definitely forced us to think outside the box.
Yes.
Because our job is so creative.
So hands-on.
I honestly don't know any other industry that changed so much like our industry. The reason why I'm saying so is our job is based on appearance and touching people and servicing people and being intimate with them.
Mhm.
Now you're taking away the intimate, the service. What do we sell? What's left?
Yeah.
Do we just sell products? Some of us don't even sell products. We only sell service, but if we can't perform the service, how do we
survive?
Because think about it. If you were let's say you are a computer engineer, you're working from home.
And you have the flexibility to do that. But
yeah, and you're sitting at the computer, your job isn't greatly as affected in that sense, like a makeup artist or an esthetician, where we need the person to be physically there.
Exactly.
And health workers, you're essential. You're still going to work. Your job didn't get shut down. Your clients are coming to you left and right.
Mm-hmm.
We need you. Thank you, heroes, by the way.
Yeah,
but so our industry was one of the most impactful, and we had to be so creative to think of how can we sell ourselves if we're not allowed to do what we do, what we were trained for, what we were taught, what we practiced, and what we this is all of our experience, is all of that. If you take it away, what is there left for us to do? We had to get creative. We had to sell virtually online. What are you going to sell? Classes, virtual online classes, consultation, makeup classes.
I think that's the good thing that we saw out of this period. I mean, as negative as it was, right? Overall, there were a lot of good to come out of it. I mean, it forced people in the industry to be more creative, and you saw people switching from a service mode into creation mode, and they had to come up with virtual, like you were saying, virtual classes, one-on-one courses. You were selling books and working on a podcast like we were. There were just so many different avenues that you had to change and adapt to. And I think that's something that I am grateful for, something that I'm going to continue to take with me when it comes to, putting my business together, is I want to have a means to make money, even if I can't touch people. Okay. That's even if I can't service your skin.
That is technology. This is our day and age now, where everything, so much stuff is like virtual now. So we need to be able to adapt, as hard as it is. We have to learn to adapt. We have to realize everyone's telling me, like, you really need to get, even you said, though, you should get a podcast. You should do YouTube. We should do this. And then my other, coworkers, like, start doing TikTok. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. But guess what? Everything's happening now that we have to move in that direction. And I hate it. I like to keep more things personal, but now I understand I can control what I'm showcasing. So maybe I'm not going to do the crazy TikTok dance or whatnot, but I can still show them makeup looks, tips 101 on there. Don't even need to show my face. And the crazy thing is, some of these people who are quote unquote these beauty influencers really are not certified or have the background.
Well, that's a whole other podcast.
Oh, yes, for sure. But guess what?
Versus professionals, we'll probably do that one next, because I have a lot to say about that too. We both do.
But these people are online doing these funky little dance on TikTok, and guess what? Whatever products they put out there, it's selling. It's selling, and it sells out in the store. And I remember.
Wait, do you have this? I'm like, no, we don't.
No. So get this. Apparently, this is what got me into it. One of my managers that I was working with, and I told her, I'm like, I really don't want to do TikTok. I want to do it. She's like, you don't have to put your face in it. You could just make, content videos. I'm like, man, this is more job editing. But she was telling me, she's like, yeah, there was this one beauty influencer that was talking about a certain soap that you can get in Mexico. Okay. And this, like, it's a soap. It cleans out everything. It's antibacterial. It's anti-aging. And now because of that, it's sold out everywhere in Mexico. People are buying it up and they're reselling it at the border for triple the price. Yeah. So then she goes down. She's asking, the guy over there and the pharmacist, and they're like, pinche TikTok. And she's like, yes, TikTok. He's like, no. And like, they're reselling it at the border. He's like pointing them, like, look at the US border. They're hoarding and they're reselling it because that stupid TikTok, pinche TikTok.
That's hilarious. No, I mean, it is true though. You do have to be careful of your source of information. I have to tell my girls that all the time, because whenever they come and show me something new or they teach me something new, I always ask, where did you learn that? And of course they say TikTok. And I'm like, of course you did. Of course. But
it sells.
It does.
I hate to say it. I hate it.
I'm not a
I
fan
don't want
of
to admit to that.
but
I'm
yeah,
old school.
I'm right there with you. Like when it comes to how we present as professionals on social media, I think it's part of our responsibility to put the right information out there. Because, as much wrong information as people are getting, I want you to know the truth about, your skin health, sunscreen, sun damage, why it's important to put it on every day, all of those things. Because I am really passionate about it now. And it's because I'm learning to unlearn all the things that I learned and that I was teaching in the beauty industry, prior to going to school.
Not 100%.
Not 100%, but there were a lot of things that I didn't know that I could have, had more information on. So like learning that marketing is a really big part of selling beauty and skincare. And that's, learning.
I love how schools now are incorporating marketing and business into even
it's important.
Beauty school. I love it. They should have taught. I wish they taught us that when I was going to school back then. They really only glazed over it, but luckily, I went back to school for business and marketing.
Yeah,
and it definitely 1,000% just doubled my income because of that reason. You have to put yourself out there.
Yep.
And as much as I hate it,
you're gonna do it. It sounds like you're working on one. Are we gonna see more videos from you? Maybe at least like like the smoky eye.
Yeah, or something with the brows, because everyone's always asking me like, how did you do your brows? Yeah. It's a matter of just setting time aside, trying it out, and editing. It's another full-time job to push out content.
It seriously is, which is why I'm considering doing it for other people, just because I enjoy the editing aspect, but we'll see. I mean, I barely can keep up with making my own stuff, so we'll see.
So maybe it's gonna be
maybe you'll see something from Hot and Holy, like some kind of class.
I wouldn't doubt it, people. So keep an eye out.
I know, right? Stay tuned.
So you guys, we're gonna kind of wrap things up here, but we're gonna talk about our what's hot, what's not.
What's hot or not?
My what's hot is not a product. It's actually a service. I really missed this service while we were locked down and things were crazy. I didn't realize how much time I needed for myself, but pedicures, man, I just miss being pampered by somebody else when I'm always doing it for somebody else. So it's like a little me time, and it's just, you look poised, you look polished, you look professional. I really enjoyed it. Loved it. I love getting pedicure. I'm like, please scrub everything. Like, just go at it, go out of town with it, clean me up, trim me, and shave all that, exfoliate me. Yeah. And then the mask part and the warm towels and the massage. I'm like, all right, this feels good. We're always on our hands. We're always working with our hands. We're always on our feet. So having someone else to do that is so nice. Add on the paraffin wax.
I love the wax. That's my
favorite. Gets rid of all that dead crackly skin that I didn't even know I had.
Right?
Yeah. I feel relaxed. I feel just more myself, rejuvenated. I'm like, all right, I could do that for you guys now that my cup's, full again. Yeah. Now I could pour it to other people's cup. So that was something I love. And I really started going down Pinterest and I started looking at all these nail art. I was like, ooh, so now I have a board and of things I want to try. And when you're working as intimate and with your hands, you really want to keep them clean. Mm-hmm. Keep them clean. People are going to see that. They're going to see if you have chipped nails. They're going to see if you have dirt underneath it.
It's a reflection of you and the services that you offer. So yeah, I totally agree. And thanks for the reminder that I need a pedicure badly.
So what is what's hot, what's not?
So my hot is also a nail service, just like yours, but mine is actually press-on nails. So
lifesavers.
I used to always get acrylics. I was like an avid fan. I always had it done. It was getting expensive. And then of course, when lockdown happened, I couldn't do that. And so I tried press-on nails for the first time in my life, and turns out I love them. And now that's all that I wear. I mean, $8 and you put it on and it only takes like, 10, 15 minutes, if that. What's not to love?
They've came like that industry has definitely came a long ways. It looks great. Like there's so many designs now. Like you can do natural ones to like exotic, like woo.
Exactly. Like shout out to Kiss. That's my that's my favorite brand right now.
Right. Oh, when you're up in school, do you guys have to wear gloves doing facials?
We do. Yeah. Well, it was optional. Some people did, some people didn't.
Did you have to cut your nails?
With sanitize. We weren't told to. If I happened to have slightly longer nails, I would wear gloves. And then I just started to cut them down. So I would put on a fresh long set, and then I would, on facial weeks, I would trim them all the way down. I would just chop them off. So I had some nail, and then, sanitize. And then I would do it without.
Yeah. I have jujitsu that won't allow me to have long nails. I'll be scratching somebody up pretty bad. So I like to keep them short, but there's just so many cute designs you can do, and you can still make them look either natural or just go all out. So that is my hot, and what's not, I guess, is just not having it done, having janky nails, chipped nails, or dirt underneath your finger, or yellow. Ooh, my biggest pet peeve, yellow nails. Sometimes it's left over from the dye though, from the paint.
Okay, that's fair. But then you just need to like.
But is it not creepy? That's what dead people look with green and yellow nails. That's creepy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, paint, even if it's a natural color.
I mean, if you have yellow or green nails, you'll probably want a darker color to cover it.
Or go see a doctor. There's a medical underlying health problem.
That too. So it's just nice that our hot product is nail services, or like self-care nails, and that are not being groomed.
that is important. That is, and we have to address that.
1000% agree.
So that's it, you guys. We're going to wrap up this recording here.
Thank you so much for joining us. We have missed you all so much.
Remember to subscribe, like, comment, write in to us, ask all your questions, share your stories. We want to hear what you guys are up to, how you guys been dealing, what's going on in your area with the beauty industry, so we can share it. Well, if you want us to share it, but the rest of the audience around the world here.
Anonymous, not anonymous. Don't forget to share us with your other beauty professionals so that we can rise up in fame.
Exactly. We're empowering others. So I'm Jenna, you guys.
And I'm Cece.
And we're hot and holy.